All right, folks, let's get to it on Thursday. What's happening? Crawling in here a little late again, but that's how it goes on a Thursday. Great to see everybody. What's happening, chat? Steady growth. Nicholas, Victoria, E Funk, David, Curtis, Thales, everyone else. What's going on? Great to see everybody. And I just wanted to get the business out of the way so you guys know the situation, especially new people. How do we do what we do? It's with the Harmonic Pattern Collection software. And again, take the trial, please. I stress this for everybody, brand new, whatever. Take the 2 weeks, dive in. Take 2 weeks over as a free basic member and just register now. And everything there, 2 weeks for free. And then talk to me. Then come talk to me. Watch what we do here. Hit subscribe, hit the like button. Come on in. We're here Tuesday, Thursday, 12:30-ish. I don't want to get away from that time too much. Anyway, a lot to talk about. And amazing what a couple of weeks can do for us and can do for crypto and the markets. How we feeling today? What's up, everybody? Great to see you. What's up, Lawrence? What's up, 6? MC? All go. Great stuff happening in Harmonic Pattern Land. And we just continue to ride it. The big objective here, Bitcoin, to finally get to 91K. As I said on Tuesday, just take a victory lap. Let's be grateful. We're all the way up here at 93.5. We were almost 94. And we know. Okay, the big, super big numbers are 96. Big hop retest is off of that pattern. But how do you feel about framework now? Really fantastic stuff. Hold on one second. I got to do something here. Thanks. Got to clean up the screen. Anyway, so Bitcoin giving us that charge that we've been looking for. Really needed this to happen to be able to get any juice from any other lemon in crypto, quite frankly. Whole lot of lemon action the last 3 months. Let me go over, let's go to all-time index on that. And let me just do quick deep dive here on Bitcoin and the type 1, type 2. There it was. There's Bitstamp. With the back-to-back patterns here, listen, big stuff of real nice development, but it's a tough read. Very clear patterns. But I do want to walk everybody through this because it could get a little confusing. I'm not saying that we're ready to rocket and moon just yet. But a bunch of things are coming together all at this 96,000 level. Again, it is target 2 off of the bullish crab. And what do we know about that? Off of the pattern, really nice, clear, measurable pattern that developed since January, February, into the low at March, 76.5. We were spot on to that. Spot on, 76.5. I'm really happy. Like, that's why we do what we do. That's why you guys come here to get these kind of updates. Why it is of value, unlike just about any other show. Of course, Mitch Ray, I always recommend him. But beyond that, where are you getting levels like this? And that's what it all, for me, I don't care. You could flip a coin all day long. If it's delivering reliable levels, go with it. What we're doing is measuring harmonic patterns. With Bitcoin, I think that's all you really have. You got narrative and you've got measuring of price movement. How are you going to measure the movement? Let's get to it. Yeah, I'll look at that. What's going on, Neil? Great to see you today. Hook a fish. What's up with you? Great to see you. Skiing Rooster. Good morning. Good afternoon. You got it, Neil. We'll look at that. What's up, Curtis? He's asking, hey, Scott, is there any possibility to go back to the hop on the BTC Daily? We're already there. 97,440 was the hop. Or do you mean the bullish hop that back at 67? Because this is the only real issue I have is within all of this consolidation. And again, we're here on varying data feeds. That is this bullish crab. Was that really a type 2? I mean, it was so close. That's a tough one. Does 76,000 need another retest? I really don't think so, because the weekly looks good. But certainly it fell so close, so shy of those exact numbers. It would have been beautiful if that was a type 2. I would have said, yeah, let's go. I think more work to do here. Daily is overbought currently, but you're expanding, and we love to see that. You want Bitcoin to keep moving. You want Bitcoin, frankly, if you want to see some kind of a Hail Mary move. All right, I want to see Bitcoin above 96, 97,000. There's a lot of patterns. This is the index data feed. And a lot of those patterns fell so shy. It was like this. So many of these data feeds had a perfect 76K test, and then they went to do the type 1 at 89 and fell just shy, making this move officially the type 1. Now, would we come back and retest that? We got to wait and see. The clear thing is that you have no bearish dot. You have no bearish confirmation for Bitcoin to cap this rally just yet. So, let's say 96. Let's say 97. It's a nice push. I think a lot of people are hungry to see crypto have another wave, a lot of money on the side. And here's the other thing. The 4-hour chart is your friend at this point. And the 4-hour chart did put in this bearish deep crab, nice 1618 extension, move up here. But look what happened 3 hours ago this morning. We went counter HSI. What does that mean? Well, it means that this little first reaction off of the initial 95K test is just a little bump reaction. I would be looking for this to continue 95.5, 96. Now, it ain't over. It's not over. It's a bearish pattern. But this is what we talked about in our session last month. How the counter HSI basically wants to buy it more time. You want to spend more time and read it this way. Price action wants to go back into the zone, test more of these numbers. That's good if you're bullish on Bitcoin. And you definitely want to see this become something more than just a quick jaunt to 91, 93,000. Weekly charts probably where we need to be focused. I mean, that just seems like the weekly chart in just about every market, folks, is dictating what's about to happen. For Bitcoin, we've had I counted it, only our 9th weekly dot signal. You go back in history here, not too many times. They come once every many months for Bitcoin. So we had this weekly dot last week that just came in. That's early April. We had a double dot back in July. Another dot back in October 23. Another dot July 22. 1 and 2 secondary dots there, and then finally here and here. With the exception of 2021, every dot ended up being a major continuation move within the long-term uptrend of Bitcoin. I don't suspect this is going to be any different. How much of a move? Make a run to the previous peak at a minimum. Let's see what happens there. But that's great development. I would say rather ideal and maybe even better than August. Like the stock market was the correction the retracement we just went through was worse than August. For Bitcoin, I'm going to say it was somewhat benign. And again, 76,000 was the absolute make or break. And that held firm. That was a huge test, guys. Can't emphasize enough how important that 76 mark was. That was like 49K last August. Now, what do we need to see? Development. A couple of weekly bars. Yep. How are we doing on the microphone? You guys, we have an issue? Guys, give me a sound check really quick. Let me know. I think it's all right. Anyway, thanks, David. I'll double check this really quick. Take a second. Good to know. If you guys are having problems, just check your stream or hit refresh. Thank you, everybody. HFM Scout, I don't know why, but you're gonna have to check your audio. Look, I don't mess around. Once the settings get set up, that's it. And I don't mess with it. Or I have tech issues that forget about it. Regardless, people, we're in a really good spot of Bitcoin. Probably the best spot. Yeah, it is. It's the best spot of 2025. Maybe last week was a better spot, but this is week 1 of post-dot. And look, Amplified's above the 50. That's exactly where you want it. Other dots there. And we're getting above the 50 on HSI. So I'm still saying, I think we can bump this target. Let's go 96. It's not too far off, but what I'm saying is whatever started last week or 10 days ago with that secondary retest at 76, it's not over. It's not over. In fact, we should see some continuation. So looking all right, it's just, again, round of applause, and really the first time all year we can say that Bitcoin is now in a fairly constructive situation, no matter if this is a 1 or 2. Now, what about this prior bearish pattern? I talked about this last time, meaning if this was the initial test way back in December, January, and it took the better part till February to actually get down here into March, and now we're retesting that pattern like this, shouldn't we be looking for a confirmation, a type 2 off of the bearish pattern right there? We'll know, okay, after we get confirmation, and probably another 3 to 5 days, are we going to take out target 2 or not? Because within that whole scenario, target 2 gives us the most reliable make break level 96,881 if you're going to know if Bitcoin's really going to do something or not. Okay, Bitcoin could come back down, and we're not too far. I mean, look, you're in the overbought here with HSI, and you're looking for an inflection. Amplified, okay, definitely trying to give that inflection today. So I'm not going to get completely all excited just yet, because we could even bang up to 96K and then come off and then spend, I don't know, next 30 days resolving this move. That wouldn't surprise me. But for now, so far, so good. And a couple other things that are, I don't know, they're looking better than, geez, even 2 days ago. And let's just stick with the best patterns like render, because it was a type 2. It is still type 2 on the weekly. A lot of things, there's a lot of crypto that is practically dead. Something like this is navigable. Super clear weekly pattern on render, type 2. All of that was like $3, now $4.50. You had confirmation today as, you're into week 2 here. Okay, if it's a target 2, it's a type 2, yes. So it goes to target 2, and that's 970. The big thing this week, we're up above the 50 level. So now, into next week, you could see that final acceleration where you get out of the zone around $4 and you start going to 7 or 8 or 9. Going to take time, but again, getting in front of this is a big deal. A lot going on here. Let me just a couple of key harmonic pattern situations. So I talked about Cardano last time, and I'm starting to nibble. I said that I was going to do that, and we've got this daily. It is a type 2. I looked into why. I think it's a number of bars here. It's a shark. There might have been too many bars between these two levels. But this is I don't want to be dismissive about this Cardano situation. And I think this has got some early signs where we're down here 70-cent area, 75, maybe gets back to 65 cents. We want to be thinking 90 to $1. We want to be thinking return move on Cardano. I'll call it $1, which percentage-wise and the way this thing trades, it's got some real buyer support in there. It's not going to get dumped. Structurally, type 2. Okay, and I've seen enough progress. I really kind of like what's happened over the last few weeks. I just want to get this weekly chart moving in the right direction for me. So back up, like here. Get above the 50. Now, I have not taken on major size yet. I've got a decent little position, I mean, it's not major, but it's not crumbs. But I think I want to get a bigger position, somewhere down here. Maybe just for me, guys, this is kind of a bigger position in Cardano for me would be 25 to 50,000. 25 to 50,000. And catch that, catch a trade move here. 95 to $1. That's what I'm thinking here. And again, I think I've given this enough time, and it's a situation where I did say 55 cents for Cardano was absolutely the point. But I wanted to give this at least another week. I've seen enough. And I like this. A lot of times when I'm waiting I want to give it a couple extra bars. It's because the larger move that's truly developing that will come to fruition is worth it. It's, all right, I'll miss out on a little extra to be able to get a greater degree of certainty that we go not only 91, target 1, but like close to target 2, because it is a type 2. So I'm liking this. I don't expect this thing to stay here in the 70-cent level much longer. Like, we could come back next week, and if this is in the 80s, don't be surprised. I'm willing to take shots here. I'm willing to take shots. And I want to be clear. I want to treat them as trades. Okay, so they have a more realistic profit target. Like, I'm okay with a trade with Cardano here, having done the type 2. Stable out. Give me some stabilization. Buy it somewhere 65 to 70-ish, maybe even up to 75 cents. And with the anticipation that this is starting a move that into May or June, I think maybe, target like June could get us back to 92, 95, maybe even over $1. Just to give you guys some idea of time-wise. Okay, I don't think it's going to be straight off up, but I really like the development here off the type 2 pattern. It's, everything you kind of want to see in that early stages of the breakout are there. Stick with it. And not all, tell you, most crypto do not look like that. I want to stick with what does and then, go in on lumps. Speaking of lumps, I told you guys I went back on Stellar Lumens in the last 2 weeks. And I was really kind of skeptical. And I bit the bullet because I bought more down here at the 23 and 24 and 25 level, just chunks. I am currently at about 1/3 my original position from back last fall, which was a sizable position. So, and I don't think it's not for something like this, the kind of position I have, I think it's fairly big. It's fairly big. It's, it's close to 200. So what am I looking for this? Because we have a butterfly. It's a type 2. I have confirmation, a little bit delayed, but I have it. And I've been buying this general 25 level, just call it 25, now 27.68. I'm looking for target 1 minimum, 35.28. It's kind of like a Cardano play. But I'm, I'll be even more conservative. And if this is something bigger in development, then we'll bust through. So let's see. What's up, Scott M? Would I leave a small portion for a moonshot? Definitely. Definitely. Buy in chunks, sell in lumps. Meaning I'll buy many, many chunks. I'll buy it in the same area in 5 pieces, 6 pieces even. I'll sell it in 3. I'll sell a bit, get to target, sell 30, 40% or more. If I'm ever in doubt, I'll shave off 5% just to feel better. Which is what I did last year when we were up above 50 cents on Stellar Lumens. And I'm just like, I think 53 is the number. I had to sell that a couple of lumps. But with Stellar Lumens and what this has done since March, it's been one of the nicest setups. This and Render, Cardano, okay, giving you guys patterns I can verifiably define, quantify, and then pinpoint entries off of confirmation with that's what that is. My thought, okay, You've got these patterns, and these are some of the T-coin kind of spec plays. But the fact that you have this at a minimum, I can take this from bullish dot to bearish dot, wherever that shapes up as well. I'm thinking 35 cents. So, every penny's like 2K for me. And I could take that for a trade. But this is some of the best daily type 2 development we've seen since October. And again, Cardano, same type of thing. I'd be treating that the same type of way. I'll assume, and I'll be super conservative, but we can get a reactionary bump here. Bitcoin giving us really what we need to see as well. I'll go from there. Couple more. Yeah. What's up? Stephen G wants to look at FET. And this is, okay, FET and a lot of these others. I do think they got super washed out in probably one of the, it was the greatest washout since COVID for sure. But FET is now, let's talk harmonic pattern stuff. Let's talk harmonic pattern language. Let's forget tariffs and COVIDs and all of that. And let's just describe what we see here. Okay, again, before I even get any further, anybody that's in here that does not have the software, please get over, send your TradingView username to hpc@sr-analyst.com and get with the software, because what I'm about to show you is exactly why you need the software, so that you can have a full understanding of where you are in the framework. If it's crypto, futures, stocks, doesn't matter. But for crypto, it matters because we have so little other info to go on that we have to measure the trading cycles. And what FET was an initial type 1 Gartley. So into that first half of that cycle, went all the way down here. What was that? 70 to $2. And then all the way back down. And we said this would come back to $1 because that was a type 1. The deep crab just crushed it. And then we just watched it tank and tank. It finally gave us first confirmation at around 68. But there was no development. And we said, geez, even maybe this deeper level, there were some things on the weekly that had to happen. But now that has not only gone all the way that deep, but given you double confirmation, I would say the bigger thing is that for the first time, this downtrend that started really just first day of January is over. And FET, yeah, up 10% today. But I would be looking at this as a larger creature where clearly the 60-cent level is big support. And it doesn't matter that this thing went all the way to 34, although we were in awe. I was. I didn't want to touch it. But that has started at least the rebound. I could see that 144 off the bat. It's back to $1. This stuff trades really, when it's down, there's really no institutional support like you have for major stocks. It'll come in and kind of cushion the blow as it goes down. It's just 220 down to 40 cents again. Also remember, FET was one. We were in front of FET all the way back here, took it all the way to 3 something, got out at you took it up to 350, got out around 250. Down here, $2, the rest of it. And it has a history of doing this boom bust cycle. And this could be another little boom cycle here. If anybody that's been involved with this in the last year or two, if you're going to go back again, which I wouldn't be, I think that's a good idea. We start looking at stuff like FET now, finally. But just know this before you go in, you will not be in this time next year. Like whatever happens from this point forward over the next 6 to 12 months, you're out on the 12 month by the 13th month, because we're just going to go through another 2, 3, 5x cycle and then probably back down again. But at least we're at the lower range of that cycle. One or two more for Justin. Shout it out. What's up, buddy? AIOZ, and again, another one. I think we're here at another spot of these AI coins completely washed out. And we've talked about AIOZ here and here. And now we're going to talk about it again here. It's 32 cents. Amazing. That was as low as 17. But look, this pattern, that Gartley hop level, 1738. Bat pattern, hop level, 1894. Clearly, that's major support. I mean, major, with confirmation. So we're 32, guys. Where does AIOZ go? I think target 1, 65 to 70 minimum, maybe as high as 95. That's the proposition with some of these AI coins. I think they have washed out. We have Bitcoin moving in the right direction. And I think it's time to speculate. Get back in. Couple more. See, I knew it. I knew once I started getting there. Once I started saying, I think we're in the clear, you guys would be chomping at the bit. But let's go. Ave for Neil. I know you requested that. You were like the first one. Ave and the rest of these. Look at these patterns, guys. Just phenomenal stuff. But I'm going to say this with a bit of caution, that a lot of these major patterns that have developed are type 1s, unless otherwise noticed. Like render is a beautiful type 2. But type 1, there, Ave, get to 223. I think that's pretty easy. And we're early. But good one. What's up, Lino? Let's look at the graph. Before I open the chart, I'm going to say the graph is another one. If it pops again in the next 3 to 6 months, you're selling. All right? We're selling pops. There's the graph. Let me get a better. There you go. Longer term chart. Okay. Another boom bust cycle, but is it over? What's down here? I don't have anything. I really don't have anything. Weekly chart? No, I don't. Listen. And this might be another speculative run. I mean, that thing has gone from 5 cents to 40 cents on more than one occasion. But we want to look for patterns, okay? We want lines. We want, things that have been automatically that we can say, hey, software has measured the trading action. We have verifiable patterns. We have confirmation, and we haven't fudged anything. Where was the? Hold on, bear with me 1 second. Let me bring up Ethereum. Okay, Ethereum. Maybe next week will be week 1 because we're finalizing this secondary dot. And I'm looking at Ethereum. I prefer Cardano over Ethereum. And this is a deep crab at like 1725 or something. That's a little overstretched in my book. Literally my book. But I'm watching it. I think Ethereum could get back above 2K in some kind of nominal reversal move. There's better setups than even Ethereum pattern wise. But, again, just looking at that, the fact that it has managed to stabilize, okay, okay for now. Not great. But there are differing qualities of pattern setups. Yeah, well, here's one. Okay, Chainlink, guys. And this has got big structure. Still probably early stages, but look, massive bat pattern at 1070, retesting other prior pattern support. Now 1486. This is another one I would have on the radar because if we're going to get a push, I think something like Chainlink, Cardano, they have big patterns now. They didn't have these patterns, these T2s and T1s 6 months ago. Well, not the T2s. Chainlink, I don't know if we'll ever get back to that 935. This is one of those situations. It's a wait and see. But again, prime example of super clear patterns. That's the kind of levels you want to be basing entries off of, knowing that not only is it a big pattern, it's a type 2. And we got confirmation down here. Yeah, what was that other? No, I'll talk about that later. SUI, this is another one of those that is really favored. You always hear people talking really good things about SUI. And here you go. Remember the shark at 205? That's why we want patterns. That's a different situation than a few of these others that we were looking at. But terminal bar 205, go to target 1. It is a shark to 50 for sure. But that's why we want to do patterns. Celestia, will Celestia ever have its day? Could be a one where you nibble. I don't look. It's been disappointing for a while, but nibble down here maybe. But I would think if you're nibbling at 280, you're looking to sell up 5 to 6. That's about it. Solana, yeah, how about that? 150, guys, up 50% off of that low. Doesn't look like it, but geez, that's 95 right there. Up the high is 155. So half of 95 is, do the math, 4750, almost 60%. Just bounced. Still about this weekly basis, though. Are we going to get the full return? I mean, 105 really got threatened, and I was in a wait and see. In fact, we may now finally get to that point where, for me, I would have all of the signs I would want to see for a full rebound. But that'll be next week. Can we get above 50 and go and make the return move where that full type 1 was just a massive flush to target 2? Really common in crypto, guys. Really common to get that over and over again. You get a harsh reaction, but that's all it is. And I think, listen, if we're there, and I think we're there. I've been really scratching at this for about 3 weeks or 4 weeks. I mean, back in March, I was saying, okay, Bitcoin, day one, day one, day one. It finally worked out. It was a slow snail of a move, but it worked out. So what about like some real T coins? Things like, oh, I don't know, H bar, although that's actually probably a snuff above the meme coins and the like. But again, if this is all being overpriced to the downside, then we should be looking for rebounds. H bars like this. We talked about this on Tuesday. We could be popping by Sunday where we're above the 50 on both of them. And I would say that's a lot like what we've seen the last two times it happened. Look, H bar, like you get it there, and then you get it here before the bigger moves. That's the kind of thing, H bar, I think it's to be looked at and go off of stuff like this. Where'd it go? There you go. 5-minute butterfly pattern. So look for the 5-minute. I would think with the positioning that a lot of this stuff is in, you had the first thrust move. I'd be looking at 5-minute patterns as major continuation structures. This caught my eye with H bar yesterday and making good progress. Doesn't seem like a lot, but I definitely think you've got to be thinking in that way. And again, I've been kind of the contrarian mindset that when the stuff got really bad, I was like, my gut is saying we got to be looking at this garbage. This has got to be the washout. If it's the washout, then we know what crypto can do. So speaking of garbage, and I mean garbage, here's some garbage, guys. What does Giga Chad do? You know, all the meme coins and all those people that were telling you to buy it. Guess what? I think now we can start looking at this stuff as if you want real T-coin speculative fun time, crypto fun time. We're here now. What do we have? What do we have? Beautiful butterfly. And sure, it's taken more than 30 bars, but I've got a firm kind of suspicion here that downtrend's broken, patterns in the early development stages of even a target one at 5 cents. There's a double, kids. You're looking at a double before it happens. Shout out to Dustin. Dustin, what's going on, man? I owe you a call, but I'm marking you right now because this is going to be beforehand. I'm not long this. Maybe I should buy this right now. I am starting to buy some of the most degenerate crypto I've ever bought in my life. And this is probably going to be another one really soon. Want to speculate? It is time. Window is open. I mean, that's one of several. XLM, I told you guys. Oh, here's Ondo Finance, which is actually even better. You know, a little firmer in terms of solid reputation. But look, Ondo down here, bottoming at 70 cents. What was that? 76. Now coming out of the zone 97. I don't think this spends much more time down here, where we could be looking target ones at 143 in the face pretty quickly. Hey, look who it is, man. Who just popped into the chat? The meme master himself, Lieutenant Ponzi. Yo, Pons. Lieutenant Ponzi is in the house. I think it's time, my man. You're going to have to get you back on here, and we'll have to have another talk, because all of those meme coins, if you don't know Lieutenant Ponzi, please check him out on Twitter. He talk about degenerate stuff. He digs up great degenerate stuff. We did a phenomenal stream in October about all the meme coins, and they went straight up in the air, literally that day and for the next 6 weeks, and then they peaked out and had the massive correction. And he's telling us to look at Blub, B-L-U-B. Okay, I'll look at Blub. I'll look at, hey, what else you got? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay, here's one that I've recently started a position on to share it with you guys. And Pawns, just to let you know, I started a position on this mother coin. And I've got a lot. I mean, not crazy, crazy, but I have a lot of this T coin, T class crypto. But why do I have this? Well, this is like Giga Chad, and this is going to be, I'm sitting on a bunch of cash from the crypto from last quarter, and I've started to put that back to work. Okay, it was a nice fourth quarter. You guys know how that went for me. You also know that I've not been very active the first 3 months of this year, even though I've been chomping at the bit. So I've been going through a lot of the ones that are on MEXC. If you're not on MEXC, I encourage you to get it. And I saw this, I guess it was a month ago, and I really thought this situation was not to be priced to zero. There was a lot going on here. But like Giga Chad, and like all of them, okay, it just overdone to the downside, trying to sell it to zero. This is where crypto can come in and give you these percentage moves, the multi-bagger moves, if you will, to cite Peter Lynch. And can we get to 4.4 or 5 cents in a rebound move, some kind of speculative bounce move? That's, to me, what it looks like. And then check it out. I've got massive patterns here. Massive, bat pattern, the deep crab, all of that at the hop. Now, it went under the hop, but where it was confirmation. Exactly where it needed to be. 0.4 of a penny. There's a few other ones. I think it was it Myro? Okay, for the first time, guys, you know what I've said about this stuff. Now, I like where Bitcoin is. I like what these others are doing. And you've got patterns. You've got green line confirmation levels. It's time to look at this. Near protocol. Butterfly pattern at 221. The HSI was like 180, 190. This one's not moving nearly as well as some of these others, but they are absolutely in a better spot than 30 days ago, better spot than 10 days ago. They did the work they needed to do. One or two more of these absolute degenerate, worthless crypto that actually could get you moving somewhere. PAL AI, was that the other one? Yeah, look. March, that's insanity. 6, 7. Okay. Big bat pattern all the way back down, maybe 12 cents, something like that. But rebound recovery move gets you to 25 or 35 cents. So it's a 2.5 bagger possibility. That's what we're thinking. There was one or two more. There was it the whiff? Somebody wanted to look at dog whiff hat. And again, I'm just going off of patterns here. Dog whiff hat, I know we looked at this for a while. And we even looked at this stuff down at the hop level at 51. There was a couple of things here. I would be looking at that. Some of these others, like Giga Chad, is better to me. Giga Chad. Remember, of these meme coins. And Ponzi, I'll reach out to you, and maybe we should get you on next week and we look at these. Because if we're right about this, like if GigaChad, if that's the washout pattern and we're just now in early development stages for a type 1, yeah, that's a 2 plus X. Couple more. Yeah, Injective for the pawns. Injectives like this, man. Nice patterns, really sweet. I see what you got. I mean, Injective was 32, goes to 6. Yikes. But also, take note, here's the zone. Pretty amazing, guys. And this is why, again, get the software. Because Injective had all of the ideal pattern configurations you want to see. XA level is 770. The T1 was hit here. The low was 633. Okay. So think about that. 770 is your minimum pattern completion level. It goes to 633. Right off the bat. Okay, practically a 20% drawdown under the XA level. It might not seem like a lot when you're looking at it here on the chart, but think of it this way, 10 grand at the XA level still went down to 8 grand at the low just to resolve the zone. It's a common thing. This is a great setup, by the way. Thanks, Ponce. But it's a great one because pattern completed, dot went on, and then the next day we retested the open dot trigger. Basically 706 was the absolute triggered low, 1 and 2, and you start the move. A little more consolidation and keep going. So where do you go from there? Target 117. It will take time, but that is as ideal of a setup and confirmation as you can get. This is what we're looking for in our best of crypto setups because we have a pattern. We have, green line, absolute confirmation trigger bars to go off of versus say, something that doesn't have that. All these crypto I'm showing you have some auto-generated lines that are ready to go, if not already done. A couple more, 1 or 2 more. Yeah, Anchor. I know it's been a while, but for good reason. Anchor was 1.4, now 1.9. All right, I see what you're getting at. Yeah, again, back-to-back massive patterns. You're kind of glad to see them scraping the hop level at 1.5 cents. What's the strategy outlook? Kind of how do you frame out the trade opportunity? Basically, where is it going to go? Where is it going? Because you're looking somewhere around 1.5, 1.7 for that to go back to target ones at 3.8, maybe 4 cents, like that. But that would be the max move. It was a 3. That would be a 3x. Let's say things got crazy this summer or fall. But that would be about it. I would prefer the trending situations, guys. For sure. I just think there's better. This stuff, you're bottom feeding here. I think stuff like, Render, Cardano, probably better than that. I don't know. One or two more. We went through. What's up, William? We went through Powell. The cubic thing. I don't know why am I hearing more and more about this cubic. I didn't really know about this. Someone brought this up to my attention. I don't have much on that. I guess maybe because it was just a new listing. I don't have much on that. Same could be said about that Pi network. Pi Network had come out. People were asking me about this. That's a full 886 reset, around 60 something, but no pattern. Any pattern? No, it's just I have it on the radar, and I don't know if anyone's involved with this, but really common why it has my attention, because it typically does that kind of initial entry, come out, do an 886, and then go again. One or two more of those. Yeah, I'll segue. Yeah, I'll segue over to those others, Coinbase and the like, once I get out of here. Was it SEI? No, I don't think it was SEI. I know we did SUI. A couple more. What about Ocean AI? Because I do think we are back at that point with these crypto where they're probably ripe. This is Ocean AI, and you're back down at major weekly support levels. I'm looking at render, FET at these areas. Yeah, one or two more. There you go. Tau GoldenEye. It was Tau Bit and Soar, which I think is another one that survived a major attack. I mean, that was back at 200 not long ago. Big patterns all the way down to 200. That's pretty remarkable. Nothing on Tau at the moment. I mean, Tau, I really thought Tau would hold 300, and it went to like 170. So I'm just going to keep an eye on that one. And again, these are definitely giving you the follow through there on your daily back-to-back patterns. You got to like that progress. And we've been talking about ever since that retest at 165, 160, that was big stuff. And then we have the secondary bat. Guys, this is full type 1. Full type. It was actually a type 2 of both of those patterns. So you're in a good spot potentially, and it's still early, like super early. I'm impressed. Yeah. It's a lot better spot than you were 2 weeks ago. And definitely a month ago. No. Hold on 1 second. All right. Miners. Well, the main one that I like with the pattern is Clean Spark. And I still say that needs more time. But of course, you got Mara, you've got Riot, and all those others that were beaten up that, okay, maybe now get through this next week and finally start some development off of here. Mara basically like 12 bucks. All of those miners, I know everyone's chomping for miners. They're not going to do much until really you can get Bitcoin all-time new highs again. You had the chance, and we didn't break out to new highs on that last thrust. I'll look at one of those. Hive. Yeah, I think, guys, with the fact that these came all the way back down there, not nearly as nice. Look, the Coinbase setup or MicroStrategy, at least you know those are going to move. MicroStrategy back 345. 250 held. Watch it above these recent highs. If you can get above 355, then maybe you have something. MicroStrategy really just needed that extra week, maybe 2 weeks to get above and out of this double dot scenario. 280-ish was pretty significant. And I would say even like however tight you want to draw the downtrend line, work accomplished. I mean, mission accomplished there. All better in general for that outlook. I mean, again, for you want to speculate in crypto, you want things to get a little crazy again, you need to see MicroStrategy get running. Stop the retracement. Yeah. You got it. Yeah, Ocean. Yeah, I did see that, Pons. Thanks. We can do more crypto on Tuesday, but I again, even the stocks that we like to look at. Remember Connell? I mean, this might be one of the trades of trades here where we were 10 days ago, 10 sessions ago, not even. And sitting back in all of these patterns. 12, 14, currently 18. I think this is still something that's, it's the 2x Coinbase ETF. And I would think down here under 20, generally, you're looking for 20 or more like 15-ish to 43. It's a shark to 5-0, among other things, even in just a kind of rebound style move. Nice. S&P, guys, basically scratching 5,500 right now. Really nice to see this. This is a big deal. It's been a couple of pivotal sessions. Look, S&P 500, guys, this is exactly what we needed to do. Monday was kind of a disappointment, but since Monday, we've done exactly what we've needed to do and to get out of this hole. Look, draw the trend line down. This is what everyone else is looking at. Get above that downtrend for the last 3 months. Come down here, get above. Really, 5,500 is, I think, a first start, but 5,520-ish. We get above there, and then, listen, we find ourselves quickly back. Hold on. Let's stop that. Here you go. Check this out. I was saying this on Tuesday that I really felt we were already in the return phase back to 56.15. And, with confidence now, today's follow through seals the deal. Almost puts us in I think, a unique spot that's actually stronger than I even anticipated. Why? We have the big deep crab, okay? 48.73. Again, round of applause for that. Absolute amazing. One of the greatest type ones. And you go on the monthly chart, it's even more profound. It just remarkable deep crab, big flush down, and automatic rebound off of target one. Now we're 5,500, literally the second, 54.99. And the actual type 2 move would happen up here at 56.15. We've got, how many, what are we, a week? We're still a week away till the end of the month. And the amazing thing is that the entire type 1 move and then the type 2 rebound, which is where we are with Bitcoin. We just finished it with S&P 500. We're almost done the rebound phase already. That's at 56.15. We would get a target 2, a T2 designation in this area. Okay, in that area. Of course, we'd need confirmation. But what do we have? We actually have the potential of getting bullish confirmation right here in the next month. So price-wise, harmonic pattern framework, just ping-ponging between levels. Right now, 54.99, 5,500. Come on, hit it, hit it. There you go. 5,500 right this second. The play into next week, end of the month, go hit XA level, 56.15. And we're there. I mean, we're so close to actually triggering it, where the way that has set up is the likelihood is for this to go back into the zone even deeper. So 56.15, that would be a minimum test, an immediate. Give it a week, give it a month, but it can happen in a day with the way things have been going. But that's a big deal. That's the stealth type 2 return that I've been talking about, where, yeah, it could come in here really quickly and be kind of tricky. So no doubt, for now, next many sessions, we're headed back up. We're going to complete this type 2. Where would the, if it is a type 2 against this big pattern, where would the type 2 completion be? We'd need confirmation. A lot going on here. I mean, again, if we didn't have the software, if we didn't have the understanding of the 1 and 2, we just look at this as a lot of gyration, still be guessing if it's up or down. For now, we're in that return phase, going back up, 56.15, guys. Again, could happen by Tuesday, next time we're in here. But it's really tight. We've seen it before. Let me show you this. So I've mentioned this before with the socks. Socks has done some really kind of stealth moves here on its monthly chart. And look at that. Can't really see it if you didn't know the pattern. You wouldn't even have known it was a 1-2. But the socks topped out. You go all the way back here. That was May of 24, almost a year ago. And it did the 1, super quick, down to T1. And that was 6,000 down to 4,400. And then you had this crazy return move the next month. All right, I would say we are right here. You know, we're right there in terms of the S&P, if that's the same scenario. So I'll watch that XA level. For the socks, we had no confirmation, but it still went into a full type 2. That was, that was really interesting, not doing it without confirmation, but the fact that you did the 1-2, you had massive inflections off of both. That it is absolutely something we don't want to ignore. 1 second. All right, sweet. But do you guys see that? I mean, this is really amazing immediate precedent, and we're kind of in the same type of phase with S&P doing a similar thing. This is already played out. Okay, that's already played out, but I really want to see how not only Bitcoin does, S&P does, and NASDAQ to a lesser extent, and Q. That's coming back again. I mean, look at that amazing monthly candle. The monthly candle like that tells me the long-term uptrend is fine and dandy, because every time they throw it down 15, 20%, there's enough money to come in and buy it back up. That's the monthly for NASDAQ. This is, here's the weekly, guys. Okay, pretty interesting, like this with the butterfly. And that was a type 1. Now do we go to type 2? Because that's not 19,200, 19,300. That's all the way there at 20,670. And then we'll deal with, okay, what are the larger consequences of that retest? We'll deal with it. But we can shoot this gap. Super clear. That's the setup now. And I think this will be the setup going into the summer. Whatever this return rally is that has already started, is you're probably looking at a summer rally already taking shape in development here. Okay, I've got about 2 more. Give me about 2 more minutes. I got 2 minutes, guys, and then I got to get going. So things that I'm going to add more to. I'm going to add more to Amazon right here. And I mean, no stop. 180, 185, now 185. I'm already long, but I'm building out my larger position. Because if it's 180, 185, 190, I'm looking for a return move back to 220, 230 here. Okay, the shark, ugly, but we still have the deep crab down here, 180, 270. That's all overspill, fine, but that's it. That is the low. That's what I'm saying about this. And I'm looking for it here back to 230. Okay, that's one. And the beautiful thing about what's going on currently, we have patterns in the big stocks all over the place. Meta, okay, down here, it's an ugly bat pattern, but boy, 521, really trying to hold here to the point where target 1 is 100 higher. That's what you're looking for. Tesla, big bat pattern. What are we waiting on? I mean, just time. But don't you think that if it was going to fail, it would have failed already? It would have failed on earnings. So get me out of the zone. Get me above 267, 270, because I'm still treating target 1, 348, as my objective. What's up, Steady? Steady wants to look at take 2. And maybe we could, I know what you're getting at here. Take 2, yeah, super strong there. Maybe it was something else I was thinking about. We can do a deep dive Tuesday on Tech Tuesday. That's a big shark pattern up here, but man, that's one of the strongest stocks I've seen. That thing's all-time new highs in the face of a 20% market retracement. That's impressive. Speaking about markets, S&P's breaking out now, 5507, and Nasdaq's now closing in on plus 500 for the day. That's what we want. You want to speculate? Let's go. This is the follow through. These are the green bars that I've been referencing, saying we need green bars. We now have been fortunate enough to get all of them. In a short on take 2, it's tough. The shorts were a month ago. Where we are now, even if we're bearish, okay? What I'm still saying, even if you're super bearish, you have to respect the fact that we are in a return phase here. We have to go retest all of these levels which are higher. No doubt. Speaking about higher, 1 or 2 more before I get out of here. Quick peek at gold, guys. We were 3,500 and we came off pretty hard. All right, I'm watching it. Maybe that was something for now. Amazing run up. Okay, that might be it for now. I'm not doing anything yet other than just watching it. 4-hour time frames have been really helpful for gold. The next support zone's around 3,300. But again, watch for that situation. $3,350 was the big number we've always been waiting on. And I've been thinking about this. I still think 4,100 on gold is a good longer term target, but we might need some time here. We might. I'm surprised that gold hasn't pulled back more. My gut is more like let it come back to 3,100 or 3,000 and then jump for that bigger move to 4. But again, now we want to be back on all this stuff. Listen, we want to be back. You want to recognize what SPY, S&P 500 have been through, what they're doing now, and how critical that is going into the summer. Because look, these massive patterns are going to define the critical levels for the next, I don't know. I mean, we could be using these pattern levels for the next year. Hold on, let me go back. It's like this. All right. But for where we are now, currently, SPY, get back to 561.48. It's 56.15 on the index. All of that is still 2.5% higher, minimum. So it's still up. We're in return phase. Deal with it. Okay, check that out. Listen, everybody, get over to harmonictrader.com because that's where it begins. If you have questions about the material, all the stuff that I referenced, the type 1s, the type 2 return, that's all available here in the books. I would get volume 3, okay? Please, only for those people that have not won before, but next person that types in HPC 30, I'll give you a 30-day trial to not only the software, but the gold membership, and you can get all of the premium services and see what we do day to day in the Discord membership. Everybody else, if you have questions, get over to me in the Discord, and I'm putting that link into the chat right now. Buddha Crypto, you win. BUDA Crypto, you win. You have to DM me your full name, TradingView username, okay, email address. We'll set you up with that package. Everyone else, just get the 2-week free trial. That's the easy way to go. Send your TradingView username to hpc@sr-analyst.com. I'm also including the recording from the session from last month. If anybody wants that recording, again, DM me in the Discord. I'll send that to you. Otherwise, congratulations, Buddha Crypto. Everyone else, we'll give away more on Tuesday. But feel good, people. We really earned this one. Just understand, let's get to the type 2 return targets by next week, and then we will look for other confirmation. But we are well on our way back into this return phase across the board. All good. Hit the likes on the way out is right. I appreciate you guys. And hit subscribe to join me next week. Until then, as always, folks, you go get them. And we'll be back on Tuesday, 12:30-ish. Enjoy these times. Enjoy these days. Have a great weekend. And we'll catch you